recording this video in case we want to send this to other people as well. But the conversation today is going to revolve around three main things. I want to talk a little bit about personal development. Personal development, this is myself in life and business, and also personal legacy. Development and legacy, life legacy. So that's the main topics of this evening. And this is a informational story. My story is an informational story about Mary Kay Cosmetics. Some of you guys probably have washed your face, or you're getting ready to wash your face with some Mary Kay cleanser here in a little bit, and you're just so glad. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I am so glad I have anti-aging products in my house. Like, I'm so glad that when I run out of a moisturizer or I need an eyeliner, I just walk over that way and get some Mary Kay, some more Mary Kay. So let me start from the beginning. And if you're a guest on the call, feel free to take notes. You know, I was that person that was eager to learn. And even if you're a Mary Kay consultant, of course, if you're new, please take notes. I would love for you to take notes. That shows that you really care. And I think somebody's getting their nails done, so that's okay. You don't have to take notes. So let me start with personal development. I grew up on a apple, peach, and cherry farm in a very small town called Cana, Virginia. So Cana is a little bit outside of Mount Airy, North Carolina. A lot of you guys are probably familiar with that area, but if not, it's Mayberry. So Mount Airy is Mayberry, the Andy Griffith Show, that's all real, okay? So I grew up on a small farm there, well, small town, pretty large farm, and I gained two really big character traits from growing up in that environment. And one of those things was that all work is honorable. That a sign of a true character of who you were was in how hard you worked. So probably if you're a farmer's daughter, or maybe you have a farm, you get what I'm saying. And maybe that wasn't your environment that you were raised in, but perhaps you were raised with parents that worked really hard to provide for you. So that was one thing that I got under my tool belt of life lessons growing up on a farm. The other thing was be good to people. Be good, be kind. You know, just be good to people, be kind to people. And those were some people skills that I did receive as a child. One of the things I did not receive was anything that had to do with cosmetics. So I do not have a cosmetic background. I do not have a sales background or anything like that. Mary Kay would have not been anything on my radar. I am naturally an introvert. I am naturally somebody that I gain energy by being by myself. Some people love to be in the crowds and they love to be around people. And I really like quiet. I really like to be by myself. I bought a home with lots of windows and 5 acres of trees behind my house. And I moved to a city now. But I bought trees. So I can just look out the window and see the squirrels and the deer and things like that, because I gain energy by just loving on God's earth, just looking at it and loving God's earth. So when Mary Kay came into my life, I was on the farm. And my mom had a Mary Kay party. So some of you probably had a Mary Kay facial before. Maybe you've been a hostess. And I really didn't want to go. I was like, Mom, are you for sure that I have to come to this party? Like, oh, like, you know, I really, like, neither of us really wear makeup. But she kind of booked it on the fly. She kind of booked a party on the fly. A lady came into my mom's school. She was working at a school system in North Carolina, and she kind of booked herself for a facial. It turned into, I got to come with my mom. And I'm going to tell you something that I don't always tell everybody, but I want you to know, is that I wasn't super impressed with the first lady that I met. So I feel like that is good for me to tell you, because maybe I'm not the first Mary Kay lady that you've met, or your current consultant is not the first Mary Kay consultant that you've met. But it is important for us to be the best person that we can be in the moment. And the lady that came to do my mom's facial, I was only there for a few minutes, maybe 20 minutes or 30 minutes, because she was late to the party. So, that's not a really good sign. And she was a little ill prepared for everything. But one of the things that she did do is, as I was leaving my mom's house, she threw me some information about the business. And I'm that student, I'm just a nerd, y'all. Like, I'm just a Mary Kay nerd that just wants to read, and I want to be better. And I know that I can learn how to do something, even if I don't know how to do it. I can read directions. So I left early because it was nap time. So at that time in my life, I had a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old. So I had 2 little toddlers, and nap time was at 2, and I was pretty structured. And so I got to go. It's nap time. And I remember just laying there with my 2 little babies, and I had this handful of literature about Mary Kay, and I was reading it, and it's talking about a free car, and it was talking about all this stuff, and I was just like, no, that's not real. So I don't know if any of y'all ever thought that thought, like, this can't be real. So I kind of did some research. I researched it, guys. I really did. And my grandmother has now passed away, but she was like really my mentor in life prior to Mary Kay. And I just so highly respected her. I said, Grandma, what do you think of me doing something like Mary Kay? And she says, well, why don't you call your cousin? I think your cousin sells Mary Kay. So I said, okay, I'm going to call her. And I hung up the phone with my grandma, and I thought, this is probably not a good sign. If my cousin sells Mary Kay and I don't know that she sells Mary Kay, she's probably not good at it. So I am so thankful that God blessed me with logic. So thankful. A lot of people could just get so caught up over who didn't do good or who said what, and I just I didn't really care. Like, I didn't really care, because I knew that if I really wanted to make something work, I could make it work. So 2 things was happening. I was reading, and I was also communicating. I called my grandmother, and then I called my cousin. So my cousin said, oh, no, I'm not interested in recruiting you. I'm not going to do Mary Kay anymore. It's not really for me. And I just thought, you got to be kidding me. Like, really? Like, I will be good at this. You don't want to recruit me? So she said no. She said no. I said, well, what's the phone number of the lady that recruited you? So I was starting to go, am I crazy for being so interested in this? But what kept pulling me to it, guys, is that Mary Kay was a company that was built on faith. It was built on putting God first and family second and career third. And I was somebody that so wanted to keep those values and priorities in my life. And I was so in love and poor. Anybody else ever relate to that? You just in love and poor. You don't got no money. You were just like living on a hope and a prayer, just trying to get by, when you got these 2 little babies and you just want to look at them. You just want to love on your babies. But at the same time, you don't got no money. So I was like, okay. And I read about this lady named Gloria Mayfield Banks. Gloria Mayfield Banks is a Harvard MBA graduate, and she had turned executive corporate person to Mary Kay Cosmetics. And I just thought, there is something to this. I'm going to just delete the lazy people that, my cousin, which, I love her, but, the lazy person. I'm not going to listen to them. And I became very selective with who I was going to take advice from. Because you see, people around us, they want us to stay the same. Now, that may be kind of sad to some of you guys, but as you're working on New Year's resolutions for yourself, as you're working on 2017 and what you want that to look like for you, it may not be what someone else thinks that you should do. So again, thank God he blessed me with some logic, because I didn't really have a ton of people around me that was saying, go for it. You should do Mary Kay. You're going to be so great at that. I was the I wore foundation, but that was it. So I was the non-makeup woman, no color. I was the non-makeup person that was considering going into a cosmetic industry. What sense did that make? But the business plan, guys, was really solid. And I like to make smart decisions. And I don't know if you got invited to this call with the graphic, but the graphic said, "Don't die, still wondering." And that was kind of part of my decision to go ahead and do Mary Kay, is because I had dug into it enough to find that there were some people that were really successful with it. They weren't like me. But I knew that I could learn how to do something. I could find people that I could take advice from. And this lady, the lady that recruited my cousin, remember the one that I was trying to see if I liked her a little bit better. I wanted to go shopping. To make sure that who was going to be mentoring me was going to be somebody that I could really rely on. So I remember watching her come out of her car. Is that Snoopy or weird or what? But I remember peeking through the blinds of the dining room and looking out the window to see what this lady looked like. Because remember, the first one I met, I was like, it wasn't appearance, I promise you. It wasn't that. It was just professionalism. It was, it just wasn't good. And so I remember thinking, this woman got out of the car, her name was Becky, and she came out with black hose on and a nice suit. And she looked kind of nerdy, and I was super nerdy. And I just thought, she's got a briefcase. We used to have briefcases. And I just thought, she's taking herself seriously. She is doing this as a business. And that was really important to me. I thought, if I'm going to do this, it's got to be have time to waste on something that's not going to make me money, that's not going to be profitable, that's not going to benefit my kids. I wasn't going to do that. I am not someone that's just, efficiency is like right here on my forehead. Like literally, if I had a tattoo, it would say efficiency. So I'm not going to do something that's not going to be productive. So I told this lady, I met with her. She was a lab tech at Baptist Hospital. Some of y'all may know where that is in Winston-Salem. And I just thought, you're somebody that I could work with. And this lady, she talked to me about commuting from, Mount Airy to Winston, and really not getting home until 6:30, 7 o'clock at night, and then having to rush to put her kids to bed and do the routine, feed them, brush their teeth, 30, 45 minutes of homework, and then she passed out. And that she never felt like she had any quality time. So it wasn't so much, I didn't need to know more about Mary Kay. Mary Kay had been around for, now it's been almost 55 years. And the logical part of my brain went, I could join a fad. I could sign up to be any kind of consultant with something else that's new or that's unusual, but fads fade. And I knew that. And so when I looked at Mary Kay and the heritage and built on the golden rule and God first, I felt safe. And that was really important to me, is that I wanted to make sure if I invested myself and invested my time into making something work like Mary Kay, that it was going to be reliable. It was going to be there for me long term. And I felt secure, y'all. I just felt secure. So this lady I didn't recruit with her so much because of Mary Kay, but it was more, I trusted that. It was more because I wanted to help her. And I want you to know that this is a company that we have tape that's on our Mary Kay boxes that says enriching women's lives. That's part of what we want to do, is we want to enrich the lives of women. And that's going to mean so many different things for so many people. It's okay if you don't have any children. I have people that are part of my organization that are doing Mary Kay in preparation of having children. They're planners, they're thinking ahead of what do I want my life to look like. I have people that are part of my organization that are doing Mary Kay to pay off college debt. They have a degree, but they have a hefty, student loan that they're having to pay back every month. And they have a job, but the job does not allow them to survive and pay all of their bills in addition to pay off a student loan. So everyone has a story and everyone has a struggle. And it just so happens that I joined Mary Kay right after Christmas, where I was feeling the struggle. I felt like I had, spent too much money that we didn't really have because we were in love and poor around the holidays. And I was just sick and tired of being sick and tired. It wasn't like I was super confident in myself, like not crazy confident. I was just sick of being broke. And so there has to be a part of you that is really ready for a change, because I had been probably hiding. I'd probably been, just ignoring the fact that something needed to give for 4 years. So for 4 years, I was praying for clarity. I was praying for financial stability. I was praying for just, God, where would you have me go? What path would you have me go down? And sometimes we pray, but we don't want to hear the answer. And I think that that's what, I struggled with a little bit is, you got to be kidding me. It can't be Mary Kay, God. Like, that's just so weird. Like, that's just so, so weird, I just didn't think that that could be it, because sometimes we think that we know better. And that was kind of what I was going on in my head a little bit, because it's not typically our physical abilities that prevents us from being successful or taking a risk or taking a chance on ourselves. It's all that head stuff. It's all that negative self-talk where we let fear become bigger than any faith that we have. So I joined to help this girl. I did it. I wasn't sure if I was going to be good. I wasn't sure, I couldn't promise her I was going to do good with Mary Kay. I couldn't promise her nothing. But she just inspired me. She wanted to stay home with her kids. I wanted to help her stay home with her children. I thought that was beautiful. I thought it was great that you had a goal. How many people do we meet that have nothing that they're working towards? So, I was interning. I was working at a hospital, and I was kind of saddened by the people around me that just seemed to be there, that just seemed to be settled would be the proper word. They were just kind of, I'm here. And I was young and felt old. I was like, this is weird. I should not feel this old and feel like this is it to be so young. Something has to change. So all of that, I'm sharing all of that because that's my personal development. That was the first part of it. I mean, we're always growing, we're always changing, but that was the personal development that I was going through to make that decision to give myself a chance, to take a chance on myself. And I'm going to fess up to you guys. I joined Mary Kay, and then I chickened out. So I didn't do anything. I joined, I got so pumped up, I got so ready to do it, and I chickened out and didn't do anything for 3 months. And, God, he showed me up, and my car broke down. So here I am in the drive-thru of Subway, my car breaks down, and I'm like, ugh, are you serious? Are you serious? And, God knew my car was going to break down. He had prepared me with a company that had a free car, and I just chose to not do anything. But sometimes we don't always make great decisions, or whatever. Sometimes we have to go backwards to go forward. So I had to wait on a ride, my embarrassing moment outside of Subway, waiting for a ride. And I had time to talk to Jesus. So here I am, and I'm just like, okay, you want me to sell Mary Kay, don't you? And it was kind of, I was like laughing. I was like outside Subway going, you've got to be kidding me. And that was it. I said, enough's enough. I got to get serious with this. And there's a moment, it's like a paradigm shift. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's where everything changes, but nothing changes. Like my life had not changed. I was still standing broke in the parking lot of Subway. But in my mind, I had made a shift that I was no longer going to struggle, that I just couldn't believe that God wanted me to struggle this bad. This cannot be his, unwavering love for me. We got to do something here. So I knew that he had plans for me to prosper, and for me to not be in despair and to not be that stressed out. So at that point, I had to kind of submit. And I went, okay, I know nothing about makeup. So thank you, Lord, that we have free training. Woohoo! Free training! So we do things like this video conference right here. And I have an app. If you guys want to download it, you can go to the Play Store and you can type in Kristin Myers and get my app. I have a website. I have all kinds of video training. So you're in business for yourself, but you're not by yourself. And that's what I want you to know. You know, we're not going to chase you or hunt you, or nothing is required of you. This is your business. But if you want to do good, you tell us. And we're so excited. We are so excited that you want to be good, because we are all about enriching women's lives. This is not about anything else. This is about how can we positively impact your life, and what would that look like for you? And then you share that with us, and we go. So 5 months later, working part-time, and I want to address that, is because most people that are considering a part-time job, or maybe they need to, they're not even considering it, they really need to have a part-time job. You know, waitressing or doing something on the weekend doesn't seem oftentimes reasonable, because it could be a 20-hour a weekend, 20, 25 hours a weekend, maybe 10, maybe 15. The great thing about this is part-time can be 2, 4, 6, 8 hours a week. It could technically be 2 to 4 hours a month. So you're going to get to decide how much that you want to put into this. And that's where the next step. So once you're a consultant, I want you to know that there's a next step. And that's when you sit down with your recruiter, with your director, your leader, whoever your mentor is, and share with her what you want to get out of this and what your life looks like, so we can put together a proper business plan. This is we are not looking for fly-by-night people. We are looking for people that want to start a business, that can really truly see that. If you do Mary Kay like a hobby, you can, but it's going to give you hobby profits, right? Or you can do Mary Kay like a business. So that's what we want to know, is what are you looking for out of the business? So I earned a car 5 months later, and I'll tell you, that was so good. That was so good. It was so healthy for me. I was very insecure about so many things. Growing up, I had social anxiety. I had a lot of, talk about the head stuff, I had a lot of insecurities, a lot of self-consciousness, a lot of I'm not good enough, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not skinny enough, just a whole lot of stuff that prevented me from flourishing the first part of my life. There was a lot of struggle. And this was so healthy for me, because that win was something I didn't even know I needed. I didn't even know that I needed to feel like I could create something and be successful and accomplish something without having like a boss or someone saying you're not doing it fast enough, good enough, the way I want it to. There was no comparison. And I was so fragile. I can't even explain that. I didn't make eye contact with people. Just think of, I was so fragile that I wasn't really fitting into society. So this was like a way for me to develop myself, be successful, and love myself, truly. So when I earned that car, I'll tell you what, I felt so good. And I'll tell you what else was exciting about it, is my husband thought it was a good idea. Ha, ha, ha. Oh my gosh, y'all. So remember when I said there's going to be people that don't necessarily become your cheerleaders over you wanting to start a business? I don't care if it's Mary Kay, or if you want to start a baby boutique, or if you want to start a yoga facility. There's somebody that's going to tell you you are crazy. And my husband was not like horribly, like he wasn't belligerent, but he was sarcastic. Anybody got a sarcastic husband? Like the yeah, right, yeah, right, yeah, right. So it was so good to have that car, because it immediately made a switch flip with my husband. And he all of a sudden was my biggest fan, my biggest support person. And he retired when he was 29 years old, and he has been a stay-at-home dad ever since. So I had only been in Mary Kay for about a year when my husband quit his job to stay home with the kids. He went back, initially he was going back to college to finish a degree, and then he was going to go get a better paying job. But by that time, I was making like $6,200, I don't know, somewhere around $6,200 a month. And he was like, I don't think I can find a job making that much money, and I said, okay, I tried to be nice about it, but he wasn't going to be able to. So it just works out so good. And that kind of goes into the development of the life, or the legacy development that I was talking about earlier. Is we are able, or with Mary Kay, you're able to create a lifestyle. Mary Kay is not a get rich quick thing. It is a make profit quick endeavor. You make 50% of what you sell. So very quickly with tomorrow, you could have $100 extra. So it's a make profit very quickly, but it's not a get rich thing very quickly. Your story doesn't have to be mine. You can do it quicker. But it took me about 5 years to make $150,000. By the 5th year, I was making $150,000 a year. And then before, I think I was about 29. I had made $1 million when I was about 29. It was right before I was 30. I had made $1 million. And in the past 5 years, I've made another $1 million. So I want you to know that it's like if you were going to start a Starbucks, you were going to buy a franchise and you were going to start a Starbucks. You're not going to make any real big money for 4 to 5 years. I mean, it takes investing of oneself. It takes loyal people. It takes, not just, being happy if you make, $3,000 to $5,000 extra a month or $500 extra a month right now, be excited. But long term, there's a lot of residual because we have a consumable product. And so every 3 to 4 months, these people need more foundation. They need more mascara, and they can't wait to buy it. They're so happy that you are their Mary Kay consultant. They're so happy that you're their friendly face that brings them their moisturizer, that they don't feel that they're being sold to. I don't want you to be a salesperson. I want you to love people. I want you to just be honest, be kind, and go back to the roots of the farm. As I started this, be good to people, be kind to people. Give them what they need. Let them have what they need. And so there's going to be residual because it's consumable. And that was one of the main things that when I decided to do Mary Kay versus something else, I was looking to see how consumable that the product was so I could have residual. We make money through selling other products, but we also make money through leadership. So I want you to know that team building is completely optional. You do not have to team build. But if you decide to team build, then there can be a car. You can earn a car. You can take cash if you don't need a new car. But I've won several Mary Kay cars, probably 8 or 9 of them, and I've wrecked 5 of them. So if you get a Mary Kay car and you wreck it, they just give you another one. So I don't know. And if you hit deer, or if you're not so sure how good of a driver you are, you might want to get a Mary Kay car just so that you can let your kids learn to drive with it or something. It's been super nice. It's been super good for me. So as a leader in Mary Kay, as a team builder in Mary Kay, you can earn 4% commission. 4% commission all the way up to 36% commission. So there's a variation depending on your position, kind of like LPN, RN, and so forth. So depending on your title and position, they're going to pay you to train people. If you are a teacher, if you're an instructor, if you are currently a director, if you want to be someone that mentors, it's natural for you to gather people and love on them. You're probably going to really like it. You're probably going to like doing that part of it as well. So you've got selling of the products, 50% of what you sell, and you get paid that immediately the same day, 50%. And then you also make money through leadership and team building, okay? There's other perks. Like I put some of my jewelry on just in case you like it. I don't wear this at my house, I promise, but you can earn diamonds. I saw it as an heirloom. I never had anything like that. I didn't have parents that had things to give me or leave me or hand me on my wedding day or anything like that. I am not going to have that. So I just saw it as, I'm not very materialistic, but it would be nice to give to my child. And so that's where we talk about, developing a life, developing a legacy. That's the next part I want to share, is that I stay with Mary Kay because I've now been in long enough to see what it's doing for people. I am extremely passionate about helping moms have flexibility with their children. Me and my husband, we both were at a ball game at 2:00 today. We have a ball game during the middle of the day tomorrow. My kids are in a basketball tournament. We don't have to ask off. We don't have to call a boss. We don't have to pretend that we're sick. We don't have to lie to anybody. We do whatever. We do whatever. We can both go on a field trip. We can always be the volunteer classroom parent. They don't have to worry about it. They'll always have us. We'll always be able to be there, one of us or both of us. If I can give that to other women, it pushes me, it propels me to do Mary Kay all the time, no matter what. A bad day in Mary Kay is somebody doesn't like their foundation, just change the color. There's no, I can't give someone the wrong prescription. I can't, accidentally overdose them on some kind of a morphine at the hospital. There's some perks to being in a business that enriches people's lives and empowers women. That's not so stressful for me. We are the only direct selling company that has retirement. We're the only company that you can build a business with that's transferable to a person. So when I decide to retire, then I can give my unit to my daughter. If you have multiple daughters, you can split it up, but it's something that it's truly a legacy. I don't know if people think that far. I don't know if people think that far when they make decisions to start businesses, because less than 1% of businesses stay open past 50 years. 1%. And so Mary Kay has been in business for 55, and we are so $5 billion a year, $5 billion a year that we profit in 35 countries. 35 countries. I mean, we're helping, not just American women, guys, but we're helping women in impoverished areas that are kind of smothered by really, men wanting them to stay home and they can't leave the house, and just different situations, we're talking communist areas where women can feel independent a little bit, where women that don't usually get to have freedom of religion, they're in a company that this is their church. This is where they can hear about the word. And that's a good thing. I want to support something like that. That's not just just here for a little bit, or not just in one area. That's really outreaching to women all over the world. And so I think about that one woman, Mary Kay, what one decision can do for so many. And that's what I'm going to, propose to you, is what is that one decision of you being a Mary Kay consultant? What would that do for other people, for so many more people? It's hard to imagine. I didn't understand it. I didn't understand it when I first joined. I didn't know anybody. I didn't know who to sell to. I didn't have any relatives that wore makeup. They were all farmers. They were all just, no one dressed up. So I had everything against me, truly. But what I'm looking for is good people that want to serve the Lord and they want to serve others. And when you're a good person with good intentions and you're a hard worker and you make decisions to get things that, you make a decision that you're going to make this work, it will. It will, because you say it's going to, because it is who you are. Success is not about the business. It's about who you are. It's about who you are on the inside. So as we kind of wrap up everything tonight, I want you to know that it's $100 to become a Mary Kay consultant. And with shipping and tax, it's about $118, depending on what state that you live in. It's going to vary a little bit, but it's around $118. And you're going to get this great big bag, this beautiful Chanel-inspired leather bag that's going to come to your house in about 5 days. And you're going to be so excited about it. You can give yourself a facial, you can practice on your husband, you can practice on your mom, and somewhere in that time period to start the new year, then I would love for you to have coffee. And she'll ask you, I would love for you to have coffee with your Mary Kay director so you can talk about your desires, what your new year plans are, what you would like to see happen, and what your time looks like. Everybody's going to have a different business plan, and it's going to work. We're going to customize it to work for you. And so as you are sitting here and pondering and trying to decide, is this something that I want to invest in, right? Invest in. I want you to think, if not now, when? A lot of people say, well, I'm going to wait until the kids are older. A lot of times people say, well, I'm going to wait until I'm out of school, or I'm going to wait until my kids are out of school, or I'm going to wait until the summertime. And sometimes, unfortunately, what happens is things come up, like they always do. And I told myself a long time ago is that I would rather be in a crisis and have some money than be in a crisis and be broke. So stability and security was something that I was going to go after. I had to have it to just help me love my life a little bit better. So I'm hoping and praying that Mary Kay could be that hope and love for yours too. So what we're going to do now is the Mary Kay ladies are going to send you a survey so that you can say, I was on here. It's like 3 or 4 questions. It's very, very, very short, but it's giving your consultant credit for you being on the call. So she's going to send you like this little text message, and you just put in your name and that you were on the call really quick. And if you decide, the favorite part, if you decide that today is the day that I make a change, if you decide to be a Mary Kay consultant and you tell her change, okay, so here's the key word. If you text her the word change, then you get free shipping on your starter kit, okay? You get free shipping on your starter kit. It's kind of a year-end kind of special. So I feel so highly favored that you would spend some time with me tonight and that you have been very open-minded to all the information that we've shared. And so thank you. Thank you for being a Mary Kay customer or a Mary Kay friend. We appreciate you. And I just wish you all the luck with your Mary Kay businesses. So bye, everybody. Bye.